Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of In the Limelight, hosted by CameraStuff and yours truly, Conrad. Hope you're doing fantastically well tonight. As per usual, we have dug into the local South African photographic industry, and we have found yet another interesting person to talk to. So tonight, joining me is a very talented, exceptionally talented photographer, in fact, by the name of Geraldine Duncan. She is from Whimsy Dreams Photography. She typically does pet photography, horse photography, one can describe it as just animal photography as well. Just give you a bit of a taste as to what she is capable of. Let me just quickly give you a slideshow. So she gave us a bunch of images to look at. This is the work of Geraldine. So fantastic work, all done by a very skillful and talented photographer known as Geraldine Duncan. And we're going to pry her mind open a little bit, ask her a bunch of questions, and get down to the bottom as to what makes her tick, what inspires her, what got her started, what gear she uses, etc., etc. If you have questions of your own, by all means, do drop them in the comment section, and we'll tackle them one by one as we prod along. Also, introduce yourself, tell me where you're from, and I'll give you a bit of a shout out from my end. So a little chat box will exist this way. Sorry, my screen is mirrored. All right, so a little chat box will exist here so we can see everyone's comments. So I think without further ado, let's invite our extraordinary guest tonight. Hello, Geraldine, how are you doing?
Hi, Conrad. I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm doing fantastically well. What did you get up to today?
The usual. Some editing, mom
Mm-hmm.
things, and then obviously some stress, panic, and anxiety. But that's pretty much it for the day.
It sounds like a healthy mix, getting stuck into your work with a bit of anxiety thrown into the mix. To add that little bit of spice, it sounds like the daily routine of a creative person. But yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure.
that's the case. But it's for works, and that's how our brain works as creative people, I suppose. But yeah, it's the anxiety that keeps us on our toes, I suspect. So I have a bunch of questions to ask from my side. So let's get dug into it, shall we? So, as per normal, my first question is, how did you get into photography? Like, what got the clock ticking? What made you pick up a camera, and what made you pursue this career of photography?
When I was a little girl, we actually lived next to our neighbors who were photographers, and they still followed the old method of a dark room and developing film. And well, I was a supermodel when I was little. I'm just joking. So they used to always call me over and they would play with me and take photos and different techniques, different styles. And it kind of intrigued me a lot into photos that I started looking at things differently, completely different. In general, I look at everything around me different. It's just everything is pretty and magical, and I see magic everywhere I look. But when I got older, I got my first point and shoot camera, and then I just like shot away landscapes, flowers, little bugs, everything I could, even lampposts, a lot of things, and then sent it in for developing, and then waited for it to come back. Most of them were big mess, but I learned through it. It wasn't easy, but and then as technology progressed, I in general just loved photos from get
Hmm.
go.
All right, so we got a couple of questions going already. So, love your work, Geraldine. This from Ryan Abbott. So, this is going to be my second question, but Ryan is one step ahead of me. So, what is your camera of choice nowadays? And also, what did you start off with? So, the point and shoot. Like, tell me the
I,
entire timeline of cameras that you've owned. Let's
I
get a good idea as
cannot
to what you used in the
remember
past.
I cannot remember my point and shoot. I'm going to be very honest with you. I am not sure what it was. I was a kid. I think it was a little Kodak, if I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% certain on that. But with the digital side, I started with a Canon, I think D1000 or 1000D. It's
Mm-hmm.
a small little camera. And then from there on, I switched over to the 650D. And from the 650D, I switched over to the 60. And my current camera that I'm working with is the 5D Mark IV.
Mm-hmm. So, you remained a Canon person. So, anything, like any
Yeah, it's
particular
a
reason why you
habit.
stuck with Canon? Was it
No,
just
I'm just comfortable with it. I understand it. I know it. I'm intrigued with Sony, the colors, and I think each and every brand's got their own thing. But I'm just,
sure?
it's out of habit. It's not even. I don't have a real reason for sticking with Canon.
Yeah, so the ergonomics, the button layouts, and the general feel of the camera, and also the results that you're used to getting, it just becomes an extension of you. So it's not always a case of wanting the best, it's what you're comfortable using within your hands. And the camera does feel like an extension of you. That
No,
just
it
helps you
does.
take better photos on a day. Yeah, so obviously a good choice sticking with a certain brand over a long period of time. All right, so in terms of lighting, if I may, just pop up these images on again. So a question regarding lighting. I see a bit of a mixed bag here of in-studio shoots versus outdoor. So do you want to tell us a
Yes,
little bit of a secret in terms of your lighting, what your preferences are? Are you natural light or artificial light? What do you have in the
I'm
kitchen?
gonna say it. I don't care who's judging me right now. Natural light, only
Hmm?
natural light. It is what it is. I started last year working with studio work, so I'm still new. I'm still learning. I've covered most of the basics. Wasn't easy. I'm still like educating myself on the different lights, different techniques. I haven't explored much, but 99% of my work is natural lights.
Mm.
The one with the horse and the powder, it's all natural light. We just have a black backdrop at the back, and then obviously everything gets removed in post production. And then for studio, I use two Godox. I think it's the GS400s, two of them
Yeah.
on each side. That's pretty much it on my lighting. I don't use flash. I don't use anything. I don't even use reflectors. It's natural light and just those two lights.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. You can see it in the quality of your work as well. Just the natural tones and the natural moments that you capture, and obviously capturing it in natural light is very conducive to that. Here's a question pertaining to the topic. When is your favorite time to take photos? So, question from Samantha, Geraldine, same namesake, Van Dijk.
Samantha, sunset. Always sunset. I don't shoot in the mornings. I'm not a morning person, so I don't do sunrise sessions at all. I don't shoot in during midday, and only sunset. I stick to it. And then obviously studio any time of the day.
Okay, so when in studio, using the two Godox strobes, any preference towards certain light shapers? Like, are you an umbrella person, softbox person? Is it
Softbox.
just a okay? Is it just a case of what works
Just
best on the day, like creating bespoke lighting,
yes.
or is the softbox a
Yes,
nice
I'll
little
just
medium
adjust
average?
it, but yes, pretty much just that. Like I said, I'm still exploring the different techniques, different lights. There's so many
Hmm.
to choose from, and it can be overwhelming if you don't really know how everything works or how to put everything together. So what I have now is pretty much basic and standard, and it works for me.
So I just have to get myself in the middle here. I keep sliding to the left. All right, so we showed the people out there a bit of a slideshow. If you want to see more of Geraldine's work, the link is provided in the comments section. So you'll see there, whimsydreams.co.za. So as we are talking, you can visit the website. Also, the social links will be provided on the website as well. So do follow our guest. So as we are talking, you're very welcome to go have a look at Geraldine's website and see her amazing portfolio, just to catch a bit of a, as to what she has been doing her career. And I see some fantastic images here. In fact, let me screen share here. So I'm just finding my mouse. All right, so maybe a little bit small, but this is your website. So I do urge people to go and visit the website. You can have a look at her amazing portfolio. So it's right there, provided in the comment section. So I think maybe on topic, how did you go about developing the website and developing a social media presence? So obviously it's one thing taking good images on a day, but how do you go about marketing yourself? Putting the name Geraldine Whimsy Dreams out there.
Conrad, I'm not gonna lie to you, it took off on its own. I don't know how it all happened. I think I have a lot of people believing in me and supporting me. I have a lot of people that share my work, that recommend me, that I think it's just all about that. I obviously have a Facebook page, which I try and keep up to date. It's not easy with the workload and shoots and everything in between, so it's difficult to keep it 100% updated. My website is honestly not updated at all. It's very outdated. Even with Instagram, there is work though. And then I recently started TikTok, but mainly just photos. I'm not doing videos and content yet.
So you're not
So
doing
I'm
dances yet.
marketing. Pardon?
So you're not doing the dances yet on TikTok.
No. No. No.
That was a
It's
very
fun to look at.
convincing shake of the head. Like, no, not doing the dancing myself.
Yes, no, I'm not doing any dances or selling anything yet, so I'm still okay. I'm still doing fine. So it pretty much took off on its own. I also posted on a lot of photography groups a few years ago and kept on doing so, and then pretty much took off from there.
All right. So I think the Instagram link is also provided, so people can have a look at that as well. So do follow our guests. Sorry to reiterate, but just to make sure that everybody watching is following you, check out the link provided in not only the description, but the comment section as well. So do follow our guest tonight. So I see a couple of questions here. So pertaining to lenses. So do you have a favorite go-to lens, and obviously your favorite focal length as well?
I do. The lens that never leaves my camera, never ever, unless I switch over to studio work, is the Tamron 70 to 200. I prefer Tamron over the Canon because Tamron's a lot softer and I like the soft, dreamy feel to it. So that is it. That is my go-to. I do have others, but I never switch.
And I think, just to get back to your question, who would be your lighting partner of choice? Yeah, so it's either natural light 90% of the time, or in studio on the odd occasion. That would be just the Gerald strokes.
By choice, definitely natural light.
Okay, natural light. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. So natural light. So how do you go about working your angles? Obviously, there's also this question I wanted to get into a little bit later, but I'm just going to talk about it now. How do you work with pets and finding the perfect time of day and reading their body language? Obviously, there's a lot that can go wrong, and now you need to mix in a perfect time of day as well. So tell us a little bit about the work process, your start to finish work process.
Yeah, my usually start is I upfront have set locations for different dogs. Some of the dogs are, and most of it is a forestry dog feel. That's just how I am. I've actually recently started moving out more in the open where there's no trees, no shade, no nothing. But I tend to stick to shade. It's just I feel a lot safer. So I have set locations. So bigger parks, bigger things for dogs that's extremely well trained, that will not run off and get themselves in trouble or be in danger. Or just those that's a little bit anxious. I've got locations for them where it's completely fenced off and nothing can happen to them. And then with it being sunset, I still stick in the shade regardless of the sun setting. So I usually I have a set time for my sessions and I don't have a time limit because I'm working with animals and anything can happen. We can battle for 10, 15 minutes just to have the dog settle down or the horse calm down. But in general, I take my time with them. It doesn't matter who they are. I try to get to know them. So all my locations have pretty much a full closed off backdrop, trees. What I do is I make sure that what is behind me is an open space. Open, like clear sky, open space. I would usually, for example, the pine forest at the parking spot. If you get out, then it's piece of lawn and then it's trees. So that section there is where I focus because I've got the light falling and then also the sun on whatever direction it is. So I play with the dogs in general on all directions. So all my sessions have where I have my light behind me, then I play with the sun on the sides. I also shoot against the sun sometimes to create a little bit of a more artistic feel. But that's pretty much my setup that I have with each and every session.
Okay, that makes complete sense. So, if you don't mind, me just coming back to the beginning again. So, getting into your career, obviously, you flourished tremendously, but just getting into your career, baby step by baby step. What particular challenges did you face, in particular, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Uh, a lot of the challenges, so there was many. There's quite a few. Um, I think applying when I just started, it was a case of applying settings to what I want. So
Mm,
I would envision this specific image or what I want to do, and then I don't necessarily get it correct in camera, and I get frustrated with myself. So that was ongoing issues that I had. I had actually interesting thing on my road to building myself up to where I am now. I had a lot of photographers breaking me
mm-hmm,
down, a lot of photographers giving bad comments, telling me,
mm-hmm,
wait, whoa, there's no market. I had also had a few people saying that there is no market for pets, really. And I just kept going. Those are my main challenges. I haven't, everything else has been running smoothly. I just kept on going, kept on trying, never gave up. It's just the few hurdles that I did have
mm-hmm.
that just encouraged me to push further, to keep going and
Mm,
prove everyone wrong. There's a big market for pets, a
mm.
huge market.
All right. So, what led you into the field of pet photography as opposed to, let's say, doing weddings or families and whatnot? So, chocolate block full of your pet photo.
I
I still see you do some of the human stuff. But what motivates you towards taking photos of animals? Maybe an obvious question, but let's just hear it.
so, so I've since I've been young, I'm very passionate about animals. All
Mm-hmm.
kinds of animals. I'm not really picky with something particular. I love animals, all of them in general, and everything I did has always been animal related. And then I love photography, so it's just pretty much combining two passions into one thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, makes a lot of sense. So, what tips would you give people out there who are also trying to do or trying to get into the same field as well? So, in regards to pet photography, top of mind, what advice would you throw out there for people?
Practice. Oh, first of all, patience. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have a abundance of patience. A lot of it. Everything is just patience. Whatever you do, patience. It's got to be patience all the time, and then practice. Keep on
Mm-hmm.
practicing. There is no, to me, there's no right or wrong way in photographing pets. We all have
Mm-hmm.
our creative angles. We all have a different vision when we see an animal. I always say, go down their level, connect with them, eye to eye,
Mm-hmm.
be on their level of the world. You see a
Mm.
completely different picture. So lie down on your tummy. My husband always tells me just lie around all day. So just lie on your stomach and get on your knees, get connect with the animal. Just keep practicing, practicing, practicing. And if you
Mm-hmm.
start out, not all dogs are trained. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people say, "Oh, you only work with trained dogs." I don't. I don't. 80% of the dogs, well, 90% of the dogs I work with are not trained at all to do anything. They have, I call it the 3 second rule. I just need Pooch to sit down for 3 seconds. Even if they don't want to sit
Mm-hmm.
down, they can stand, that's fine. 3 seconds, I have 3 seconds to take the shot. That's it. So I always say, keep trying. In the beginning, when you start, have someone to help you. It's always
Mm-hmm.
easier if you practice with your own pets. You
Mm-hmm.
they see you as their comfort. So the moment you put them in a position and you walk away, they are obviously going to follow you. But if
Mm.
you do have someone standing there, maybe just holding on to the lead. I mean, we've got Photoshop; it can remove a lot of problems. So you just have someone hold on to a lead. You call, use a squeaky toy. You can make funny sounds. Dogs usually are fascinated with whispering. They're also
Mm-hmm.
fascinated with extremely high pitched sounds. So I do sometimes sound like a clown during my sessions and lose my voice
Of course.
halfway.
Mm-hmm.
Squeaky toys work. It's just some dogs are driven by their toys. So you might lose that dog completely. They'll be just like whoa, and it's over. And then other things that work great is YouTube, animal sounds.
Mm.
Other dogs barking, cats, anything at the back that will get them to focus. You only need
Interesting.
3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, I tried that myself, taking photos of some of my pets here, and it's a difficult job to do alone. Like you need a person to help grab the
Really
animal's
helps.
attention or
Kind of.
to have the animal sit or stand in a certain spot. Normally, when I get on ground level, as you said, to capture the world from their point of view, then they jump on me. Like that's an
No,
invitation
no,
for
that's
them to come and
normal.
rush
They
me.
all
Yeah.
do
So
it.
you need the person just to help you out, just to get the doggy or the cat or whatever animal it may be, just to into position. Yeah, the squeaky voice helps a lot as well. My pug is half deaf, can't hear deep voice, so you do get the squeaky voice going on just to get her attention. Yeah, but yeah, I do concur with that. The squeaky voice does help a lot.
Yeah, no, it's definitely look, it's practice. I've worked with a few dogs that's deaf, so
Hmm.
it's a bit of a tricky one because sounds don't work for them well, doesn't work at all,
Mm.
and you do sometimes forget it. That during a session you completely forget. But what really works is just like walking up to them, and then you just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
their attention. You keep their attention, and then you go in position and take the photo.
Mm.
So it's the same with blind dogs. It's even more difficult because they don't know where they should be looking. So they
Oh,
just need the
shame, yeah.
guidance from whoever's standing next to them, and
Mm.
then it always works out in the end. So it's just constant practicing
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bit of experience will take you a long way. As you said, practice, 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 and learn as you go
and
along.
patience.
Take bits and pieces of learning material as you plod along. Doesn't happen overnight. So not overnight you're going to get into the magazines and whatnot. Yeah, bit of patience as well. Yeah, it's a lot that goes into pet photography and photography in general. But I think the takeaway from this is it doesn't happen overnight. Practice, have patience, and you will flourish in the right direction. So let's talk about the motivation. It is a question here from Solomon. So, what is your motivation to keep creating?
I just love animals. I
That's
just
a good
love them
starting
in
point, yeah.
general.
Mm.
I am really crazy dog, horse lady, or chicken lady
Hmm.
too. I just love animals. I just love animals in general. Every time I would sit outside or I would look at my dog, I'm like, I haven't tried that angle yet. That is so
Mm.
super cute. So I would keep going and going. And I think just because I love them so much and I want to be around animals all the time, it just it motivates me constantly.
Mm. I think that's a very good point. Love your subject. Be passionate about your subject. So if you love animals, obviously getting into animal photography would be a step in the right direction. I do find people kind of forcing them into places where they're not happy. For example, I did wedding
Oh
photography a long
no.
time ago, and it was a case of, look, my mind is not here. I don't want to do this for 8 hours every weekend and doing all of the editing afterwards as well. So I have a very short attention span, so it's 2 hours, 3 hours at a time, and also doing conceptual fine artwork, interesting creative studio lighting, using a variety of different lighting and light modifiers. That's where my brain is at, and also working with
Yes.
interesting people as well. So, point being here is that yeah, love your subject, love what you're doing, yeah, and go in the direction to the thing that you're passionate about. Don't force yourself or
Yeah.
cram yourself in spaces just because you may think there's a market demand for it. Like if you don't like doing it, your client is going to notice that immediately as well.
Yeah.
And people
No.
pick
No.
up
For
on these
sure.
things. And yeah,
No.
so if you give off the impression that you're bored or don't want to be here or it's just a job, quote unquote, that's going
Mm.
to reflect in your work. And as I said, people pick up on these things quite easily.
No, no, that is correct. And not just that, if your heart's not in it, the animals actually feel it.
Mm,
It sounds
mm,
absolutely absurd and silly, but they do. They do feel
mm-hmm,
that, your energy is very low and it can become a bit of a problem. So you need to be there. You need to be present. You need to enjoy it. You need to love it. It's just you need. I mean, staying motivated. I mean, they're also damn cute. You just can't not. I mean, you get so
mm,
many different breeds, different animals, horses. They're all unique. They all have their own personalities. To me, it's like, oh, what personality am I meeting today? Because they're all
mm-hmm.
different in their own way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So having never experienced like getting demotivated or a moment of having no motivation or creativity, what they call writer's block, and in the world of photography, they call it writer's block. And if so, how did you get yourself out of that dark space?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I get that frequently, especially when it's shoot after shoot. I'm working through the retouching because my retouching actually takes longer. I hand edit most of my work.
Sure.
It really takes long. It's time consuming. I do get overwhelmed. I do get exhausted. And the only thing that really works is to take a break,
Mm.
to take some new time, take a day or two off, just like relax. Don't think
Mm-hmm.
about photography. Don't stress about a gallery not being finished, but just to be a person.
Mm.
We sometimes
Absolutely.
get trapped in that cycle of work that we
Mm.
lose a lot of ourselves. And I know when I'm overwhelmed and exhausted and flooding with work, then I honestly can't focus. Then I
Mm-hmm.
have no motivation at all, not even to retouch, not even to meet a new little dog. I'm just completely overwhelmed and exhausted. So
Mm-hmm.
taking breaks is very important.
Yeah, that's going to happen. It's a very tricky thing to balance. Your private life, your social life, and
Mm,
integrating or separating work from that specifically.
yes.
Very often, as photographers, but photography bleeds into our you time and our family time and everybody else times as well. And it's just about finding a fine line to separate the two. Easier said than done. It's a creative mind that's going to spark things the whole time, and you want to get on your computer, you want to get the camera in hand, but you need to define clear schedules, and over time your brain will get used to that as well. It's very often when
Yeah.
we feel agitated, when we're not have a camera in hand, or we're not editing, we feel that anxiety prior to a shoot, is because the brain is not used to a schedule or
No, that's true.
a routine as such. So it would be good advice to photographers out there to get that settled very quickly. So this is X time for photography and X time for everything else. Yeah. So over time, your brain will get used to it and may help with the anxiety and agitation that, you know, normally fills our brains as creative people.
No, it's just finding that balance that's really
Mm.
important. You need to balance everything.
All right. Question from Martin Ashworth. Hello, Martin. How are you doing? Are there any specific pet photographers that inspire you, like Claudia Piccoli? Sorry about that. And which
Really,
is your post-processing program of choice?
well, Martin, actually, he's one of them. I was privileged to work with them in the dog photography group. I was part of the moderators in the group, and it was Monica van der Meijden, Natalie Grobe, Chris van Riel, and then obviously Claudio. They are all brilliant, all of them, and I absolutely love their work. Um, One of the others as well in the pet photography industry is Jess Bell. She's extremely sweet. All of them, you can reach out, you can ask them anything. They are humble to assist you. So I know all of them actually, not in person, but I've worked with
Mm-hmm.
alongside them for quite some time, and they all are awesome, awesome, awesome. And then my program of choice, I use Lightroom
Mm-hmm.
for importing and sorting and just doing basic editing on it. I'll do like minor retouching, and then I switch over to Photoshop.
All right. Yep. Sounds very similar to what I'm doing. Yeah. So Lightroom just to get the bulk of the work done, but for finer editing, yeah, that you pop the image into Photoshop for. I think many photographers have that process. Just Lightroom to take care of the bulk of the work, and Photoshop,
Mm.
as I said, just to
It's
get the
just like
finer
sort.
details
It's
done.
just easy and fast and quick.
Mm. All right. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go through the comments here, and I'm going to quickly repeat back all of the compliments. I kind of skipped over the compliments just to go for the questions, but just to kind of give you a big hit here. From Martin, love your work. From Samantha, talent, amazing talent. Also from Solomon, wow, beautiful, heart, heart.
Oh,
And we have Skiwa from Free State also tuning in, saying that he's using the Canon 1200D.
keep
We've got
shooting,
some
keep
emojis
shooting.
going here. Ryan saying that's a great lens. I think that's referring to the Tamron 70 to
Mm.
200. Now, this is a good one. Geraldine, done a shoot for my wife once. Wow, wow, wow. She is not great with animals only. Also referring to the people photography, I assume that you did for her as well. from Natasha, amazing photographer, exclamation, exclamation. So thank you so much, guys. Keep the compliments, keep the comments, and keep the questions going. Let's get a nice conversation going, not only between myself and Geraldine, but you guys as well, watching out there in Facebook and YouTube land. Drop your questions, drop your comments. All right. So more questions from our side. So was there a particular moment in your career that was so memorable? Like it was a moment that the lights of heaven shone on you and you said, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is exactly where I want to be. I am a photographer and I am successful at it. Like, was there a moment in your career that stood out in terms of, no, this is the wow moment, this is the me moment?
Well, actually, I'm going to just go start off with session-wise. They're all of them. Each and every one are awesome memories. I'm bad with remembering names. I mean, I meet 2-3 dogs every day, every second day, so I forget their names sometimes. But they all form like a little special place in my heart that I would never forget. And before everything got like super busy and hectic, I did publish in the Animal Talk, and also published for a few calendars. And those were like yay moments. And also I published for awards. I just don't have the time for it right now, but I used to literally just shoot to publish for awards. It was, to me, it was like a little feel good naughty badge moment. But then other than that, it's just each and every animal I work with. We've had some good moments, some good laughs, and some of them I literally had the heavens light shine on me, like, you are still going to continue after this session, everything's going to be okay. It was a situation, one of my clients, she contacted me to photograph her horse. And I went out to the location, the stable yard, and next to the stable yard is a big farm. It's just open spaces. And she said she wants to canter towards the camera with the sun at the back. Now, I know this. I saw the little mare when we started. She's a little bit of a busy horse. Just I need to be quick with her. She's very busy and she gets annoyed easily. So she went too far back and she turned around and the horse never rode in that specific area. And then she opened up the horse to canter now towards me. I was sitting on my knees and I'm here photographing this horse. And then while I'm photographing, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. This horse is coming way too close to me now. And it's speeding off. Then I saw my client's face. She was in panic. So the horse ran away with her. The horse held on to the bit and it ran away with her, and that horse was coming straight for me. The last thing I remember was through my lens, it was just like this white blob, and then this horse came jumping over me. So that day, heaven was looking after me. It was a big deal.
She said, literally shining on you, okay? Now get it.
I was literally shining on me that day. But yes, it's something I will never forget. You'll also learn a lesson, like just be more, focused on what's happening, because you get so busy trying to because horses' ears must always be forward, and the legs must always be in a specific position to have the perfect movement captured. And when you are photographing an animal running towards you, you get so carried away in focusing on those good things that you actually don't see that you are in the way.
Of course, yes.
Of the animal. But we also had a dog, so I'm not allowed to shoot at a certain golf club anymore. I'm not going to mention names because of one of my clients' dogs.
Sounds like a bit of tea.
This is also something I will never forget. This specific dog, everything went well. The dog was wearing a harness at all times, and then we decided that not going to wear a harness, going to take the harness off. His weight is magnificent. His weight's great. And took the harness off. Things went great for about 3 minutes, and then there was a peacock passing by. So, and off goes the dog. Now, we all know how big a golf course can be. It's huge, and they had like this forest section. And my client ran after her dog, who's chasing the peacock. The peacock belongs to the golf club. So we're like, we need to get the dog back and have the peacock unarmed completely. So she was chasing after, and then I'm like, okay, is he going to come back? He's not going to come back. So we all started like splitting up, trying to find him. And we found a cyclist that said he saw him, he fell, the dog ran in front of him, and he fell. So he's like, he went that way. But it ended in a happy ending. We found him, and the peacock was completely unharmed. So it's also something like
What
if
a
I go out on
story.
location now, if your dog does not have a good stay or weight, I have a very thin lead that I use that I can remove in Photoshop just for the sake of the animal, not to have them running off.
Yeah, yet another reason why having assistants and obviously the pet owners on location with you as well
Yes.
is a very good idea. I can't imagine doing this alone. Like what would have happened in that scenario if you didn't have
Yeah,
help? Right?
no, look, I've got a golden rule is I don't handle anyone's pets.
Yeah.
I don't. The reason for that is our animals are comfortable with us. They are relaxed with us. You are their safe place. Now, if you hand them over to a different person, you hand them over into something they're not aware of. They get uncomfortable. You can even get bitten that way. And it's not because the animal is aggressive, it's just their way of
Well, it's a
protecting
defense mechanism,
themselves.
yeah.
And yes, and they also get anxiety from it. So to me, it's like you, the session is for your dog, but you are a big part of this
Yes.
because you know your dog. I can read on certain things like, okay, the dog's getting annoyed or the dog's getting hot. So we have lots of water breaks. We have lots of just small little breaks in between where I just play with the dog in general and just have fun with the dog to show that, I'm not causing you any harm or anything. But yes, my clients always manage their own pets. They always are in control of leads, and then they also hold on to them and make sure that they're comfortable when they do get uncomfortable. And in the horse world, it's pretty much the same. It's either my client or their groom that holds the horse if the client is not part of the photos. So the groom would manage the horse for me, and then I obviously have my teenager behind me getting the horse's ears forward.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of good advice provided there. So I have two more questions left, one pertaining to your past, one pertaining to your future.
Okay.
Unless the audience out there, if they have more questions to ask, I see one from Martin Ashworth here. I think we touched on this topic a little bit, but if you don't mind getting back into this, do you actively market your photography business or is this mostly word of mouth?
I post daily. I don't actively market it. I try and post every day, every second day, sometimes once a week. And then I do have my clients sharing the photos, obviously their own photos. So it's mainly word of mouth. And then sometimes on Facebook groups, people would recommend me, or if I catch a post, I'll just like leave my details there. But I always just scroll past it because it's Facebook. So that's pretty much it. So most of it is word of mouth.
Okay. All right. So, question pertaining to your past. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self? So, you starting off with your photographic career, picking up your first camera, or finding your steps ahead in the world, where you are now, using the wisdom that you have today, what advice would you give yourself back then?
I would say the advice I would give myself is you are unique. There is a
I love
place
that. Yeah.
for you in this world, in this oversaturated market. You will make it. Just keep
I love that.
going. And you are your only competition. No one
I like
else is
that.
your competition.
Yeah, something you could put in a t-shirt. You are in competition with yourself ultimately. Like we have so much to deal with on a daily basis in terms of load shedding and economy and all this jazz. Like wanting to compete against others, obviously wanting to be mindful of what others are doing, but not being in competition with them. Because ultimately the
It
competition is
shouldn't.
who you
Yes.
were yesterday and wanting to be a better improved version tomorrow.
It shouldn't drain you. Yes, keep an eye on those around you, but I always say, you are your only competition. If your second image is better than your first, you're already winning. So
Yes.
just keep
Correct.
going, keep going, and keep going. Keep staying creative. Find concepts. Try new things. If you feel that you're a little bit stuck or not getting anywhere, just try something new, something no one has ever thought of, or try a concept that is already there and see if you can change it into your own unique style. Concepts are there for all of us to explore and play around with, but in the end, you still need to make it your own personal thing.
Yeah, normally I help out people with their own merchandising. When I do these live interviews, often someone will say something so profound that I can't help but think that deserves to go on a t-shirt, right? So Geraldine, Whimsy Dreams Photography, if your second photo is better than your first photo, you're already winning. You can patent that, you can keep that, you can merchandise that, because I love that. All right, now pertaining to your future, what's in the pipeline? Now, what's happening tomorrow? What's happening next year? What's happening in 5 years' time? What is Geraldine Duncan? What do you have planned for the near future?
Geraldine Duncan seriously needs to sort out a schedule. So I need to, I think first thing is I need to manage my business better, my off time, how can I put it, space out my shoots a little bit more, because sometimes it's day off today, studio session in the morning and then afternoon session. So I think those are the first thing that's going to change is I'm going to be a little bit more selfish with my time. But it's just for the sake of me and my own sanity and to keep the creativeness going. And then in the pipeline, which is already starting from March, is workshops.
Oh, well done.
So
That's great.
yeah, it's finally happening. We're starting off with a studio workshop. It's just going to be basics for beginners, and then from there on, within the year, I'll most probably start offering one-on-one assistance for photographers that's interested, and then we'll obviously do a outdoor workshop as well.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, if you need help with the workshops, just give us a shout. We can help out as well.
Oh, thank you.
It's wonderful that you're starting the workshops. Now we need more of that in South Africa, the hands-on workshops. Now, YouTube can only take you as far, but creating a community around you where people can interact and network and obviously learn in the process, sharing ideas, sharing skills, sharing wisdom. It's wonderful
Yeah, and
for people to connect in person as opposed to living
yes. I mean, even
online
for that
assistance.
I will always need another photographer's help at some point. I might not be available, and then I can refer. I still do anyways, but it's just nice to have a lot more around you, getting to know a lot more people. Another thing is I'm not really a good teacher, so I'm battling to teach people. So it's something I'm working on. It's difficult for me to explain specific things to other photographers. So it's definitely something that I'm working on, and I'm trying to expand all of that. Like you say, in South Africa, I mean, me as a photographer, I decided that this year and next year I will be attending workshops, because I might not need the advice on the day, but I will definitely learn one or two things from that specific photographer, and knowledge is key. So it's just, I will be attending workshops, not because I don't know how to do it, and also it's a nice profile builder instead of doing model calls. I'd much rather attend a workshop and then I gain something out of it.
All right, so I see people asking for dates. So you mentioned March. Do you have any specific dates planned as of yet?
The studio workshop is on the 16th of March, and then the outer one, there's no date set yet. It's still floating here in the cast. We just want to see how the first one's going, and then we'll take it from there.
Perfect. Okay. Question I didn't ask. Question I should have asked is, where are you from? Where will this workshops be hosted?
So the studio workshop will be hosted at Legacy Portrait Photography Studio in Brakpan. And then the outer one, I'm not sure, it'll most probably be more central. I'm actually in Marista, Bonomi, but we'll just find whatever is closest for everyone around us.
All right, and I'm dropping your links in the comment section yet again. So if the people have joined later, there you go. There's Instagram. Let me find the website as well. So I'm certain you will provide all of the information on your socials pertaining to your workshop dates and locations as well. So if you have joined late, don't worry, you can catch up from the beginning. But if you have joined late, there are the links to join and follow our wonderful and skillful guest tonight. So I think that's it from my side. I don't have any questions left. I don't see any more questions in the comments section. So, Geraldine, thank you so much. It's been a fascinating chat. Thank you for joining and taking time out of your night to chat to us. As mentioned over and over again, exceptionally talented photographer. Thank you for sharing your insights and thank you for taking time as well.
Thank you for
Very,
the
very.
invite. It was lovely joining. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So, unless we have more questions in the comments, let me just double check. Doesn't seem so. But yeah, that's it. So that's going to be it from myself, Conrad, on behalf of CameraStuff. Thank you for joining. Do check out our socials pertaining to future live chats as well. Yeah, you can also subscribe to our various channels to keep updated as well. So thank you so much for joining, everybody out there. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.